Hello everyone, I welcome you in the virtual classroom of managerial economics. We are discussing unit number 2, production function. In the first lecture of unit number 2, I told you that this unit is divided into two parts, that is economies and diseconomies of scale. And in economies and diseconomies, we have started with the internal economies of scale. Let me give you a brief idea about economies and diseconomies. We have seen this graph where the average cost is divided into two parts. Initially, if you are increasing your output, your cost of production is reducing, that is known as economies of scale. If you still increase your production, then your cost will increase, that is known as diseconomies of scale. Then we have seen that economies of scale are divided into two categories, which are internal economies and external economies. And internal economies are those which situates within the organization, and external economies are those which situates outside the organization. Then we have seen the types of internal economies, and in the types we have completed already these two types of economies, that are technical economies and economies of continuation. Now let us continue with the third type of economy, that is labor economies. A large firm employs a large number of laborers. Therefore, each person can be employed in the job to which he is most suited. Moreover, a large firm is in a better position to attract specialized experts into the industry. As we have discussed in the last lecture, that economies of scale is available to the large firm only, and it is not available to small firm. What is the reason behind it? The small firm produces less, that is why their cost of production is more, and the large firm produces more, that is why their cost of production is less. Here we are taking in context of labor economies. As laborers are working inside the organization, these fall under the category of internal economies. Now, if we talk from the viewpoint of large firms, then in large firm they employ more number of laborers, and when more number of laborers are available to us, we can employ it for different tasks for which they are shooting the most. That is what written here. Each person can be employed in the job in which he is most suited. Take the example of joint stock company and a sole proprietorship. The size of sole proprietorship is small and the size of joint stock company is big. Now, in sole proprietorship, if you are employing any employee, then he is likely to work everything. He will purchase, he will sell, he will keep the record of accounts and everything. Whereas in joint stock company, they are having so many labors. Then one labor will be there for purchasing, one will be there for selling, and one will be there for keeping the records of accounts. So we are having this specialized person. We will employ the person for the purchasing who knows the better how to purchase in a lesser price. We will keep the person in the selling department who knows how to sell more in a market. So what happens with the large firm, that they are having more number of laborers, and when we are having more number of laborers, we will employ each one to the post for which they are shooting the best. If they are shooting the best, then they will work efficiently and our cost of production is reducing. Likewise, specialization saves time and encourages new inventions. All these advantages result into lower cost of production. Because of specialization, why? Because we have employed the person who are fitting best to the job, they are specialized in their job, and as they are specialized, they will work faster as compared to non-specialized person. So there is a savings of time, and secondly, it will encourage new inventions. Take an example that you have employed a person for the production who are having much interest in the production. So he is always thinking about production, and he will think creative idea that by which other ways the same product can be produced. So it will encourage the inventions. The creative thoughts can be applied because a person is having interest for their job. If you will work for the job for which you don't have any interest, you will never think about the job when the job is over. Secondly, there will be no creativity because you don't have interest. Due to that reason, in uh, sole proprietorship, the person are not interested, they are working inefficiently. That is why they take much time in performing a job, so their cost of production increases. Then marketing economies. Economies are achieved by large firm both in buying raw material as also in selling its finished product. Marketing generally we consider that the selling activity only. But here we are thinking from the both point of view. One is purchasing, that is buying, and second one is selling. Large firm is having benefit at both extreme. When they are purchasing, they are having benefit, and when they are selling, they are having benefit. So what kind of benefits are available to the large firm? Let us see. Since the large firm purchases its requirement in bulk, it can bargain on its purchase on favorable terms. You know that in joint stock company, in large firm, they are producing more. As they are producing more, they need to purchase more raw material. They need to purchase in bulk. As you know that if you are purchasing in bulk, you are having the benefit of quantitative discount. So first benefit is of quantitative discount. Secondly, as you are a big customer, you are a regular customer of your supplier, so your bargaining power also improves. If you are purchasing in 1 lakh quantity, then you can reduce the price from 10 to 9. Over 9 you will get the quantitative discount, so your raw material purchase price is less. That is why you can sell in less price. If we talk about the small firms, they are purchasing in a smaller quantity. So firstly, they don't get the quantitative discount. Secondly, the small firms don't purchase regularly because they produces less, they have the smaller market share, they don't have regular selling. That is why they are don't purchasing regularly. So they are the small and irregular customer. Supplier generally don't likes this kind of customer, so they will sell the raw material in higher price. It can ensure continuous supply of raw material. It is eligible for preferential treatment. Large firm can ensure continuous supply of raw material. If there is an emergency, if all of a sudden you get a big order, you are for sure that your supplier will supply you the raw material. Why? Because you are big and a regular customer of your supplier, so you can force your supplier to supply you the raw material. Whereas if a small firm gets order in emergency, they are not able to complete the order because supplier will not emergency supply them raw material. Secondly, the large firms are having preferential treatment. Preferential treatment over small firms. Why? Because they are large and big, they are purchasing in bulk, they are giving more profit to the supplier as compared to small firms. The special treatment may be in form of freight concessions. First thing, if you are purchasing in bulk, then you need transportation. Whether you are large firm or you are small firm, you need transportation after purchasing from your supplier's gate to your factory gate. If you are purchasing in bulk, then you can have your own truck. Full truck will be of yours, so per unit cost of transportation will be less. If you talk about the small firms, then they are not purchasing that much that one container will be for them only. They cannot have one truck, so they need to wait for a truck that will incorporate, that will load the raw material of different small firms. You know that that transportation system is there, who are loading the raw material of different small suppliers, and they are giving the facility of transportation. The large firms are having their own truck, whereas small firms don't own their own truck. So their cost of transportation increases. Per unit transportation cost will increase. That is freight concessions from transport companies and adequate credit from bank and other financial treatment, etc. The large firm can get the credit facilities from the bank and other sources as well. Take an example that if they want to purchase in bulk quantity and they don't have cash on hand, then they will not hesitate to put an order. Why? Because from bank they can easily get the loan. If you talk about the small firms, you know that how much difficult for the small firm to pass loan from the bank. It is very much difficult. They will not get it easily. Secondly, if they are getting the loan, the interest rate charged by the firm will be high. Why? Because the bank finds more risk in the small firm and less risk in the big firms. So the larger firm gets loan easily, and that too at a less interest rate. In terms of advertising also, up till now we have discussed about purchasing aspect, and now we will discuss about the selling aspect. In terms of advertising also, it is better placed than the smaller firms. If we talk about advertisement, then large firm generally gives advertisement on a national media. National news channel is there, national entertainment channels are there. And if you take example of small firms, they prefer to give advertisement in a local and print media. The large firm uses digital media, small firm uses print media. So attractiveness is also different. If you use digital media, you can attract more customer. If you use print media, you can attract less customer. Secondly, if you are using national media, the region is spreaded, you can have the access of wide market. If you are using print media, you can have access of smaller market only. Number of customer will be less. Then better trained and efficient salesperson can be appointed for promoting sales. In case of large firms, they are appointing only efficient salesmen who can sell more at any point of time, at anywhere. They are available to sell. If you talk about the small firm, they don't have very good salesmanship, and that is why their selling is less. One more reason is that because of this purchasing economies, the large firm is able to sell in less price, and you know that if price is less, demand will be more. Take the example of small firms, they don't have the purchase economies, so their purchase cost is more. That is why they are selling in high price, and if you are selling in high price, demand will be less. Then financial economies. The credit requirements of the big firms can be met from banks and other financial institutions easily. A large firm is able to mobilize much credit at cheaper rates. As we have talked in this purchasing economy, marketing economies, that adequate credit requirements are available to the large firms. The same thing is written here, that large firms are there, if they want to have a loan, they can easily take loan from the banks and other financial institutions. Firstly, investors have more confidence in investing money in the well established large firm, and secondly, the shares and the debentures of the large firm can be disbursed or sold easily and quickly in a share market. Here also we need to compare two firms, that are large firm and small firms. Small firms don't have share capital, they are having only owned capital, and the other source is bank loan. So if there is a capital requirement for small firm is there, they are having only one source, that is a bank. As we have discussed earlier, that bank finds much risk in the small firm, so they take time in passing the loan and they charge higher interest rate. Whereas if we talk about the large firm, they are having so many sources for collection of capital. The first is owned capital. In owned capital, there is a equity share, preference share. In borrowed capital, debentures, bonds are there, bank loans are there, public deposits are there. So the large firm is having so many resources. If they are having capital requirement and if they issue the shares, even the public will be very much keen to subscribe the share of the large firms. Why? Because the large firms are well established in the market, they are having very good credit worthiness, so their profit earning capacity is generally high, which will be beneficial to the equity shareholders in form of dividend. So large firm can easily get the shares. You know that shares and bank loan, between if we make the comparison between the shares and the bank loan, shares are the cheapest source of finance, equity share are the cheapest source of finance as compared to bank loan, because on bank loan interest is compulsory and regularly have to be paid, and on equity share dividend is not compulsory and it is not regularly to be paid. That is why the small firms are having the cost of collecting finance is high, and for the large firm the cost of collection of finance is low. Then managerial economies. On the managerial side also, economies can be achieved when output increases, specialists can be more fully employed. A large firm can divide its big department into various sub-departments, and each department may be placed under the control of an expert. In small firms, they are having only one owner. That is, here also we can make the comparison between the sole proprietorship and joint stock company. In sole proprietorship, only one owner is there who is working from peon to managing director. Everything is done by that owner only. If you talk about joint stock company, then basically we find that four types of departments are there. Finance department is there, marketing department is there, HR is there, and the production department is there. Every department is having one manager, departmental manager. For production, they will employ the engineer who knows how the machinery works well. For finance department, they will appoint the CA. For HR department, they will appoint a person who are having a very good soft skill, who are having a very good communication skill. And for marketing department, they will go for the person who has done MBA with marketing. So their working style will be different. They can work more efficiently as compared to that small owners. First reason is that they are expertise in their work. Secondly, they need to focus only on a smaller area. If there is a marketing manager, he will look after only marketing activity only. Whereas in small firms, the owner has to look after purchasing activity plus selling activity plus production activity and everything. So his energy will be divided into various activity. That is why he cannot perform any task efficiently, because he cannot get expertise over any activity. A brilliant organization or a brilliant organization organizer can devote himself wholly to the work of organizing, while the routine jobs can be left to the relatively low paid worker. What happens in a joint stock company? Take the example of managing director and CEO. They are just taking strategic decisions, and all the routine activities of purchasing, marketing, production, and everything will be given to the low paid workers. We term it here as a departmental manager. Whereas in sole proprietorship, owner work as the low paid workers. He is a managing director, and he is a peon as well. So everything is done by him. That is why there is no efficiency in work, there is no expertise, no specialization. So their cost of production will be more as compared to large firm. You may think that in large firm we are employing 4 managers, so salary will be more. But if you compare the salary of 4 manager and compare the total production and the total profit, the salary will be a nominal amount in comparison of the profit. And if you take the small farms, the profit is less and the time devoted by the sole owner, the sole proprietor, is more. So in that extent, small farms do not have managerial economies. Then risk bearing economies means risk taking economies. You just yourself imagine whose risk taking capacity is more, small firm or large firm? Definitely large firm. Why? Let us see. The larger the size of a firm, the more likely are its losses to be spread among its various activities according to the law of averages. Take the example of HUL, PNG and a sole proprietorship. Generally, sole proprietorship is having only one business. Large companies are having so many business. You just take the example of product line of HUL. They are having the food line, they are having the cosmetics, then shampoo shops are there, household product line is there, then toilet preparation is there. So many products they are selling in a market. So what will happen if one of the product fails? They are having other product to cover the loss of that one product. But in case of sole proprietorship, there is no chance. If your product fails, your firm gets shut down. So the risk taking capacity is very low. You can take the example of hair oil only. HUL is producing 2 or 3 types of hair oil. And take the example of local hair oil like Kesh Kanti is not Kesh Kanti, it is produced by the multinational firm, but Rutu Raj Tel is there, like local brand. They are producing only one product. If that oil will not work in a market, then you need to shut down your business, you have to go for another business. Their risk taking capacity is less. A big firm produces a large number of items and of different varieties so that the loss in one can be counterbalanced by the gain in another. As I have told you that if one of the product fails in a market, then the profit of other product will cover up the loss of that product. You take the example of Parle-G. Parle-G is not only producing the Parle-G, they are having other varieties of biscuit as well. But Parle-G, the brand Parle-G, the biscuit available in 5 rupee packet is sold that much and is available at each and every place, including rural area, that it is the most product of the Parle-G. If they launch other product, other biscuit, it may happen that they don't work well in a market, but then also Parle-G are of having assurity that if they are having loss, it will be covered up from the main brand of Parle-G. Getting it? For example, a branch bank can spread its risk by diversification of its investment portfolio rather than a unit bank. Suppose a bank in a particular locality is facing a risk to run a bank. It can recall its resources from other branches and can easily overcome the critical situation. What is the meaning of this? That main bank is having so many branches. If one branch is failed, then other branch will help them. Now take the example that local financer is there. If he is facing risk in running their business, no one will come forward to help them. He has to shut down their business. Their risk taking capacity is low. Thus, diversification avoids putting all eggs in one basket. If you are putting your all eggs in one basket, then what is a chance? What is a chance that all eggs may get destroyed? But if you are putting at different place, then there are chances that you may not lose everything. That happens when we are small and we are going outside, and when our mom gives us money, pocket money. What they told us that keep your money in a different place. Put some money on your pocket, put some money on your purse, put some money on your bag. So what happen if you are having a situation where theft takes out your money, then at least you are having other sources where your money will be available. You will not become moneyless. Why? Because you have kept your money at different places. So that is what the logic is. If you are doing business, don't just focus over one product. You can have varieties of the products, so that if one get fail, you can focus on another product. You can cover up your losses of one product from another. Then, economies of research. A large size firm can spend more money on its research activity. Here also we need to make comparison between large firm and a small firms. Large firm, you know that they are having their own separate R&D department. They are having the scientists in house. They are having the laboratory in house. They are doing experiment in house. So when they find a new product, they launch in a market, and definitely newer product attracts more customer. It adds to your profit. The same benefit is not available to small firms. Why? Because they are not doing any kind of research activity. The logic behind this is research is a risky business. If you are spending money behind research, it may happen that you are getting result of 1000%. Research is successful, you are launching a product in a market and you are earning huge profit. On the other hand, whatever money you are spending behind research, you may not find any result, and total money invested behind research will go in vain. So there are full possibility, either you will earn 0 or you will earn 1000%. On the other hand, small firms do not have that much finance that they can invest behind research activity. They cannot take a chance of 0% to 1000%, not at all. That is why they are not doing research at all, and they don't have any economies of research. It can spend huge sum of money in order to innovate varieties of product or improve the quality of the existing product. Large firm can have in-house research and development department. They can spend huge amount of money. They can innovate the product. They can do varieties of product, and they can improve their present product as well. In case of innovation, it will become an asset of the firm. If a big firms are doing research and developmental activities, and suppose they are innovating a new form, they can take patent of the product. If they are taking patent of the product, then no one can produce the same product. They may have monopoly in a market, and you know that monopoly means the highest profit, easiest state of doing business. Innovations or new methods of producing a product may help to reduce its average cost. If you are having innovations now and then you are having so many products launched in a market. And you know that if you are having so many products, your risk bearing capacity increases, and by that way your average cost is reducing. For reducing average cost, you can take another example. You know that how these big firms are running. Take the example of Balaji. They are having so many products. Wafer is there, Chevra is there. But it doesn't mean for Chevra they are having separate machinery, and for wafer they are having separate machinery. No, not at all. In a wafer also they are having varieties. Simply salted is there, magic masala is there, rumble is there. So they are having only one machine. Only some of the assembled part will be changed. So with the same machinery, they can produce varieties of products. Simply salted, magic masala, rumble, and so many other items are there. So what happened that their average cost will reduce because they are producing varieties of product. Then next and the last internal economies is economies of welfare. A large firm can provide welfare facilities to its employees, such as subsidized housing. You know that if you are working in a multinational companies, they offer you the flats and the bungalows within the nearest to your office. Then subsidized canteens are there in big firms. They are having canteen in Balaji and in Gopal. They offer the meal at 10 rupees per plate. 10 rupee per plate is nothing in this today's time period. If you go in outside the market, one plate is available in 100 rupees, and they are offering in just 10 rupees. So it is known as subsidized canteen. Then crèches for the infant of the woman worker. In multinational companies, in the large organization, they are also employing women workers. And small firms generally don't employ women workers. Why? Because there is a problem of child. Women's most of the time is spent behind taking care of their child, so they cannot focus on their work, and that is why the small firms don't employ the women workers, whereas in large firm they employ the women workers. Why? Because they are having a separate creches ને આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં ઘોડિયા ઘર કહીએ, means they can keep their child at the workplace, and at creches they are having the ayahs who will look after the babies of the women worker, and at the interval they will allow the women worker to meet their child and to feed them. So a women worker will have no risk or the no thinking about their child. They will be assured about the safety of their child in a large scale firm, and they can concentrate on their work well. And recreation facilities simply means even the entertainment facility is available at your office. In large scale firm, what happens that HR manager is there. The task of HR manager is specifically to keep the lower stress level on the employees. In large scale firm, what happens at every Saturday Sunday, they are having off, plus when the weekend comes they are having light music which is running in a background, and that music is increasing our working capacity. So many other recreation facilities also they are offering, like table tennis is available, is there. Table tennis may be available there, and some other games may be there. If you are having any free time, then you can go and play it, and you can fresh your mind. So these are the facilities which a large firm can provide, but a small firm cannot. Now you may have thinking that if you provide this much facility, then our cost will increase. Yes, definitely cost will increase, but what will happen if you provide this many facilities? Then the employees will be motivated, they will feel belongingness with the company, and they can focus only on the workers. For remaining activity, they need not to think about it. You just take an example of Reliance Township situated near Jamnagar. They are having everything available within the township: hospital, temple, and education facility. Generally, what an worker is having stress about, they are working, they are also thinking about their child's education, they are also thinking about the health of their family members. But if company is providing everything, he need not to think about education, health facility, and the like. So his full mental capacity he can devote in the task, so efficiency will increase, their output will increase. If output will increase, your production increase, and if production increases, your cost of production reduces. So this is how large firm is having the benefit of economies of welfare. All these measures have an indirect effect on increasing the production and reducing the cost. As I told you that by giving this many facilities, you are increasing the belongingness of the worker towards the company. Their you are entertaining them, so the stress level reduces, and if stress level reduces, automatically the working capacity improves, which reduces your cost of production. So here we are concluding the internal economies of scale, and from next lecture we will discuss the external economies of scale. Till that time, have a great day.